just when you thought the royal dust had finally settled and the transatlantic drama was on an indefinite pause, a brand new shockwave just hit the palace gates. And let me tell you, the response from London is absolutely the last thing anyone saw coming. We all know the tension between these two royal households has been the stuff of modern legend. But right now, a totally unexpected chess move has shifted the entire dynamic, leaving everybody wondering how the future queen could possibly counter this latest Hollywood hustle without breaking a single sweat. According to reports, the Duchess of Sussex has officially launched her brand new lifestyle venture, throwing her hat into the highly competitive ring of domestic empires. And the timing of this massive rollout is raising a lot of eyebrows across the globe. But if you think Kate Middleton is sitting in a grand drawing room throwing darts at a vision board or frantically drafting a press release, you are completely wrong, because her alleged reaction is far more calculated, deeply psychological, and honestly, a masterful lesson in high-level public relations. You see, sources claim that while Meghan is busy sending out limited edition jars of artisanal jam to celebrity influencers and trying to build an American royal brand from the ground up, Kate is deploying a strategy so quietly devastating that it is sending shockwaves through PR circles everywhere. But what exactly is this strategy? And why are palace insiders whispering that it is the most effective move she has ever made? To really understand the sheer magnitude of this hidden royal warfare, we have to rewind for just a second and look at the exact moment this new rivalry was born. Because there is a tiny detail everyone completely missed when Meghan's new brand first dropped on Instagram. The launch came almost exactly when the royal family was navigating a deeply sensitive period regarding public health and royal duties. And critics were incredibly quick to wonder if the timing was a mere coincidence or a very strategic attempt to capture the global spotlight when the palace was deliberately looking the other way. It is alleged that Meghan's new lifestyle brand, which focuses on home decor, cooking, and elevated living, is her ultimate attempt to rebrand herself as the ultimate relatable homemaker, completely separate from the restrictive traditions of the British monarchy. And honestly, from a purely business perspective, you have to admit it is a fascinating pivot, shifting from explosive tell-all interviews and high-stakes documentaries to selling luxury marmalade and table linens. It immediately makes you wonder what the actual end goal really is here, doesn't it? But just as the internet started buzzing with Meghan's sudden return to the lifestyle space, all eyes immediately darted across the pond to the Princess of Wales, waiting for a response, a palace leak, or even a subtle wardrobe choice that might signal her true feelings on the matter. And here is where the story gets incredibly interesting, because instead of playing into the media drama or releasing a thinly veiled counterstatement, Kate did something entirely unexpected, something that sources claim completely neutralized the hype and left Meghan's PR team scrambling to maintain their initial momentum. Are you ready for it? The shocking reaction was absolute, impenetrable, deafening silence, but not just any silence. It was a highly weaponized, meticulously curated silence that spoke volumes without uttering a single syllable. According to royal insiders, Kate's team adopted a strict business-as-usual approach, actively refusing to acknowledge the new brand's existence, which in the fast-paced world of high-stakes celebrity culture is the absolute ultimate flex. Think about it for a second. When someone is practically shouting for attention, throwing a lavish digital launch, and sending out numbered gift baskets to a carefully curated list of Hollywood elites, the absolute most devastating thing you can do to them is simply look the other way and continue with your day. But the plot thickens even more, because palace sources claim this isn't just about ignoring a competitor. It is about a fundamental shift in how the future queen views her role, her energy, and her public legacy. It is alleged that Kate has completely detached from the California drama, choosing instead to focus entirely on her royal duties, her family, and her ongoing charitable commitments, which suddenly makes Meghan's lifestyle launch look surprisingly trivial in comparison. When you weigh the announcement of an artisanal jam empire against the heavy, historical responsibilities of the crown, the contrast is almost too glaring to ignore, and PR experts are pointing out that Kate's quiet dignity is accidentally making Meghan's commercial pursuits look a bit desperate for validation. But wait, because the ripple effects of Kate's non-reaction are causing even more behind-the-scenes chaos than anyone actually realizes. Word on the street is that the Sussex camp was secretly hopping for some sort of royal acknowledgement, even a subtle pushback or a classic British stiff-upper-lip passive-aggressive comment, because any friction with the monarchy instantly elevates their brand's visibility and keeps them incredibly relevant in the global news cycle. Without that royal friction, Meghan's brand is forced to compete solely on its own merits in a heavily saturated market, already completely dominated by established lifestyle gurus who have been building their audiences for decades. This brings up a massive, unanswered question that has investors and critics talking. Can a brand built entirely on the allure of royal proximity actually survive if the royals themselves flatly refuse to engage with it? As I watch all of this unfold from the sidelines, my own personal take is that you really have to respect Kate's absolute refusal to take the bait, because keeping your peace when the whole world is watching and actively waiting for you to snap takes an incredible amount of mental discipline. I mean, let's be entirely real here. If my own sister-in-law started selling high-end toast spreads right after a massive, highly publicized family fallout, I would probably be making some very petty, sarcastic comments in my private group chats. But Kate is out here operating on a completely different, much higher frequency. She knows perfectly well that her silence is her greatest asset, and sources claim she is genuinely unbothered, pouring her heart into early childhood development initiatives and meaningful charity work, instead of sitting around scrolling through Instagram analytics to see who liked a picture of a fruit preserve. But do not let the calm, smiling exterior fool you, because this silent treatment is reportedly part of a much broader, highly sophisticated palace strategy designed to permanently sever the traditional royal brand from the commercial Sussex enterprise. It is alleged that senior royals have held intense, behind-closed-doors discussions about exactly how to navigate Meghan's ongoing commercial ventures, and the unanimous, rock-solid decision was to build an invisible, impenetrable wall of total indifference. This strategic move means absolutely no official comments, no subtle shade dropped to royal correspondence, and absolutely no overlap in public appearances that could accidentally give the Sussex brand a single ounce of free publicity. And honestly, it is working absolutely flawlessly. Just days after Meghan's brand announcement broke the internet, Kate stepped out for a public engagement looking completely radiant, healthy, and focused. And instantly, the global media narrative abruptly shifted back to the working royals, leaving the new lifestyle brand severely struggling to reclaim its spot on the front pages. It is an absolute masterclass in narrative control, proving once and for all that you do not need to raise your voice or hire a massive Hollywood PR firm to command the entire room. But what does this actually mean for Meghan moving forward, and how will her team pivot? Well, insiders enthusiastically claim the pressure is mounting incredibly fast because the initial buzz around the brand launch is already starting to fade. And now they actually have to deliver tangible products that justify the immense hype they created. There are constant whispers in the industry that the manufacturing and logistics side of the business is facing significant hurdles, and without the constant, reliable fuel of royal drama to keep the public distracted from potential supply chain issues, the actual quality of the products will be placed under a massive microscope. It is completely unconfirmed, of course, but some well-connected sources suggest there is a growing sense of panic within the Sussex team as they slowly realize that the royal family's strategic silence is literally starving their PR machine of the vital oxygen it desperately needs to survive. This entire situation is exactly like watching a very slow, very polite, and highly televised game of chess, where one player is wildly waving their arms trying to get the crowd riled up, and the other player hasn't even bothered to look up from the board. And the irony here is just absolutely delicious, because Meghan and Harry famously left the royal family to escape what they called a suffocating institution. Yet their entire commercial viability and public interest still heavily rely on their lingering connection to that very same institution. It is a massive paradox that branding experts say they have yet to figure out how to successfully navigate without looking hypocritical. Meanwhile, Kate's unwavering, laser-like focus on duty is solidifying her legacy as the unshakable rock of the modern monarchy, proving her immense value to the crown. Every single time she elegantly ignores a provocation from across the Atlantic, her public approval ratings seem to climb even higher, creating a completely impenetrable shield of public goodwill that money simply cannot buy. I honestly think it is deeply admirable how she consistently handles the relentless, exhausting public scrutiny with such effortless grace. It serves as a fantastic reminder to all of us that sometimes the absolutely most powerful response to overwhelming noise is just turning off the volume entirely and focusing on your own path. But the underlying drama absolutely does not stop there, because we urgently have to talk about the highly criticized influencer campaign Meghan launched to kick off her brand, which carries its own fascinating layer of hidden controversy. By sending her exclusive products to a very specific list of high-profile celebrities, she was clearly trying to build an elite, aspirational aesthetic right out of the gate. But according to reports, several prominent figures who eagerly received the products were strangely quiet, actively choosing not to post about them on their social media feeds. Why in the world would major, attention-loving celebrities suddenly hold back from sharing a trendy gift? Well, entertainment industry insiders boldly suggest that many Hollywood power players are becoming increasingly wary of getting caught in the messy crossfire of the ongoing royal rift, quickly realizing that openly aligning with the Sussex brand might inadvertently burn highly valuable bridges with the palace in London. This silent, unspoken boycott is supposedly causing a massive amount of frustration in Montecito right now, and it perfectly illustrates the vast, invisible reach of Kate's quiet influence. Even from thousands of miles away across an entire ocean, the Princess of Wales commands a staggering level of respect that Hollywood simply cannot afford to ignore, making it incredibly difficult for Meghan to build the A-list empire she originally envisioned when she stepped down from royal duties. It is utterly fascinating to watch how traditional, centuries-old royal power effortlessly outmaneuvers modern, flash-in-the-pan celebrity culture, loudly proving that thousands of years of heavy institutional weight cannot be easily undone by a flashy Instagram grid and a clever hashtag. And as we take a step back and look at the much bigger picture unfolding before us, it becomes overwhelmingly clear that this isn't just a petty feud about lifestyle brands, jam flavors, or minor family disagreements. It is a fundamental, deeply rooted clash of core values. On one side of the ocean, you have the relentless pursuit of personal wealth, celebrity status, and commercial success. And on the exact opposite side, you have duty, quiet service, and historical institutional preservation. Kate perfectly represents the ultimate, dignified continuation of the crown, and her steadfast refusal to engage in petty commercial squabbles is a highly deliberate, fully supported move to protect the inherent majesty of the monarchy. Sources claim that King Charles is incredibly supportive of Kate's stoic approach, proudly viewing her steadfast demeanor as the exact type of mature leadership the royal family desperately needs during these highly unpredictable and rapidly changing times. It is widely alleged that behind heavily closed doors, the royal family is actually more united than ever before, drawing immense strength from their collective, unbreakable decision to simply move on and focus on the future of the country. But of course, the internet always loves a good, dramatic rivalry, and social media is constantly, obsessively trying to manufacture new tension between the two women, endlessly analyzing every single outfit, every fleeting hand gesture, and every carefully scheduled appearance for hidden meanings and secret messages. Yet, the quick dopamine hit of uncovering a supposed secret royal message is almost always just an illusion cleverly created by a media ecosystem that is completely desperate for clicks and engagement. The absolute truth, according to very close palace insiders, is much more boring but infinitely more powerful than any tabloid headline. Kate Middleton simply does not care. She is not losing a single ounce of sleep over strawberry jam. She is absolutely not tracking Meghan's social media follower count. And she is certainly not sitting in a war room plotting a revenge product line to compete with her. Her focus is entirely, 100% on her personal health, her young children, and her incredibly important future role as Queen Consort of the United Kingdom. And to me, as someone who watches this celebrity circus every single day, that is by far the most refreshing and inspiring part of this entire story. In a modern world where absolutely everyone is constantly reacting, desperately fighting for fleeting attention, and aggressively trying to get the final word in every argument, Kate's silent, unshakable fortitude is a massive breath of fresh air. It takes a very strong, highly secure person to firmly realize that they do not have to attend every single argument they are invited to. As the weeks inevitably go by, it will be incredibly interesting to see exactly how Meghan's brand evolves and whether it can truly stand on its own 2 feet without the constant crutch of the royal soap opera to prop it up in the headlines. Will she completely pivot to a brand new strategy, or will she stubbornly double down on the luxury homemaker image despite the alleged pushback? Only time will truly tell how this venture pans out, but one thing is absolutely, undeniably certain. Whatever wild thing happens next in this ongoing saga, you can definitely expect the Princess of Wales to remain exactly where she is, completely unbothered, flawlessly dressed, and entirely focused on the long game. The palace has undoubtedly played an absolute masterstroke by clearly realizing that the greatest possible weapon against relentless, exhausting noise is total, unwavering silence, cleverly leaving the entire world completely captivated by what they aren't saying rather than what they are. So, while the new lifestyle brand frantically rolls out its highly anticipated next phase, and the Hollywood influencers quietly decide whether or not to post pictures of their free gift baskets, the real, undeniable power remains quietly and confidently seated in London, beautifully proving once again to the entire globe that true, authentic royalty never actually has to raise its voice to be heard.